Hi, I'm Eric LeClaire. Today we're going to guide you through the install process. Let's get started. This installation video will guide you through the steps to install your Stinger infotainment system into your Camaro. The radio replacement interface included with this solution retains your factory amplified sound system and steering wheel controls in equipped vehicles. After the installation process is complete, you will have added CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth for hands-free calling and audio streaming, and many other great features, including a stunning 10-inch HD touchscreen display. So come with me as I show you how easy it is to upgrade your Camaro. For this installation, here are some tools that we'll use. To begin vehicle disassembly, use a nylon pry tool. Insert it under the back edge of the center console trim panel. Gently pry upward to release the clips. Work your way around the trim panel, releasing the clips down both sides. To remove the trim piece, shift the vehicle into neutral so that the trim piece can clear the shifter. Underneath the trim panel, there's a small connector that needs to be disconnected. Remove the two 7mm bolts from the bottom of the radio. Carefully use your nylon pry tool to pry the radio forward out of the dash. Press down on the locking tab and pull out on the connector to disconnect it from the back of the factory radio display. Remove the four 7mm bolts, securing the radio brain into the dash. Disconnect the antennas by pressing in on their locking tabs and pulling on the connectors. The main radio harness has a latch-style connector. Depress the tab at the top and hinge the latch downward to disconnect the connector from the radio. Now we're going to remove the two side plastic trim panels from the center console. Carefully use a nylon pry tool to separate the side panel from the center console, working your way from the back to the front. It's easiest to remove this trim panel with the seat all the way in the back position. Using a Phillips screwdriver, remove the four screws on the back sides of the center console. Once the screws are removed, you can pull backward and upward on the rear panel of the console to remove it from the vehicle. Using butt connectors or soldering and taping, connect the wires from the HEIGH10 main harness to the wires on the radio replacement harness. These wires match color for color. There are two yellow leads from the radio replacement harness that need to both be connected to the yellow lead from the HEIGH10 harness. There are also two black leads from the radio replacement harness, which need to be connected to the one black lead from the HEIGH10 harness. The rest of the wires on the harnesses match one for one, color for color. Crimp a male bullet connector onto the pink wire from the HEIGH10 harness, labeled SpeedSense. It can now be plugged into the female bullet connector on the pink SpeedSense wire from the HEIGH10 multi-camera input harness. If you do not have bullet connectors, simply cut the female bullet off the wire and connect the two pink wires together using a butt connector. The amplifier turn-on wire, blue with white stripe, has a bullet connector. You can crimp a male bullet connector on the blue with white stripe from the radio replacement interface and plug the wires together. Or you can cut off the bullet connector on the blue and white P control wire from the HEIGH10 harness and connect the two wires together using a butt connector. Cut the bullet connector off the wire labeled P antenna from the HEIGH10 main harness. Using a butt connector, connect this to the red lead on the powered antenna adapter. Turn the radio select switch dial to position number 4. The audio connector should be plugged into either the port labeled amplified or non-amplified factory audio, based on the vehicle's original sound system. Connect the power harness and radio connection harness into the radio replacement interface. Plug in the 4-pin steering wheel control harness. That completes the wiring for now. We can now assemble the HEIGH10 mounting components. Notice the side mounting brackets are labeled L for left hand, which is the driver's side of the vehicle, and R for right hand, the passenger side of the vehicle. Using flush cuts, remove the U-shaped tab from the insides of both brackets. Remove the clamp assembly from the plastic mounting bracket by pushing up from the compression spring side and swing out to unhook the top. Align the side mounting bracket with the radio module and mounting bracket and install 4 number 10 by 3/8 inch Phillips head screws into the side bracket, securing them together. 4 screws will be installed on each side of the bracket. Repeat this process on the other side with the other side bracket. The clamp assembly has to be locked into position. Using the supplied M5x10 screws, lock the clamp assembly into the vertical position. Align the clamp assembly with the bottom holes on the back of the HEIGH10 display. Install the 4 M4x12 Phillips screws into the display to secure the clamp into position. Now we're going to assemble the climate control knobs into the dash kit. Remove the climate control knob support brackets from the packaging and remove the 2 small screws from the bracket. Secure the support bracket into the bottom of the dash kit assembly using the 4 screws from the hardware pack supplied with the knobs. Using the 2 small screws that were removed from the support bracket before installation, we will secure the bracket to the circuit board by passing the screws through the opening for the climate control knobs from the front of the kit. The screws will pass through the holes with the screw icons printed near them. Remove the 2 small screws on the back of the plastic protector covering the back of the climate control knob. Be careful not to damage the swiper contacts, which are located at the top of the knobs. The climate control knobs are shipped with empty centers. You populate the center button based on whether your vehicle has heated seats or not. If the Camaro does not have heated seats, simply snap in the blank center buttons into place. If the heated seat option is present in the vehicle, we will install 2 light pipes into each knob before snapping the center buttons into place. The light pipes are keyed, so they only fit into one specific hole in the knob. Find the light pipe with the tab on the side and slide it into the oval-shaped hole with the notch on the side. Find the light pipe with the tab on the bottom and slide it into the oval-shaped hole with the notch on the bottom. Press the center button down into the knob assembly until it snaps into place. Ensure that the rubber membrane is properly aligned with the back of the knob. The plastic posts in the knob will pass through the holes in the rubber membrane. With the copper contacts at the top of the knob, carefully push the knob into the front of the kit. Rotate the knob slightly left and right while sliding into position and it will snap into place. Then install the 2 screws through the back of the circuit board to secure the knob into position. These holes are also identified by a screw design printed on the circuit board. Then repeat this process with the other knob. Clip the microphone to the plastic portion of the A-pillar aimed at the driver's mouth. Using a nylon pry tool, carefully run the microphone cable down behind the plastic on the A-pillar trim panel. Tuck the cable into the weather stripping running down the A-pillar. Using a nylon pry tool, carefully remove the plastic side panel from the side of the dash. The GPS antenna works best when it's on a metal surface and has to be facing upward toward the sky. We can simply tuck it underneath this air vent, then route the cable along with the microphone cable through the dash toward the radio location. Using a long zip tie or cable routing tool, pass it through the opening for the radio toward the driver's side of the dash. Use electrical tape to secure the wires to the zip tie and pull it back through the dash. This will route the cables to the opening where the Stinger head unit will be mounted. Pull the rest of the cable slack through the dash and secure it into a small bundle using zip ties. Then tuck this bundle inside the dash. We're going to disconnect the factory USB connector from the back of the center console. Press down on the latch tab and pull the connector back to remove it. Plug the USB retention cable into the factory USB port. Then route the cable along the factory wiring, securing it with zip ties along the way. Route along the side of the center console to the front. Then, using a zip tie, route the USB cable up through the dash to the radio location. The chime module has an adjustable volume level. There are 3 different level settings, and 1 setting is off. Adjust the chime level as desired. If you're installing Sirius XM satellite radio, connect the SAT01 cable into the vehicle's mustard-colored connector. Connect the 2-pin harness labeled chime into the chime module. Connect the 3.5mm steering wheel control connector from the radio replacement interface into the red plug labeled SWI. If your Camaro is equipped with a factory reverse camera, connect the vehicle's original connector into this adapter. Then connect the yellow RCA connector into the yellow RCA connector labeled reverse camera input on the HEIGH10 harness. Route the 3-foot USB cable into the glove box. This can be used for music playback from a thumb drive or firmware updates. Connect the 2 HEIGH10 display cables into the radio module. Plug the AM/FM antenna adapter into the black factory antenna connector. Connect the antenna adapter into the HEIGH10's antenna connector. Connect the SWI adapter harness into the 6-pin port on the HEIGH10 radio. Plug in the 12-pin harness with the speed sense wire. Plug in the main power harness. Plug in the multi-camera input harness, plug in the GPS antenna. Plug the 3.5mm male microphone connector into the receiver labeled mic until it snaps into place. Plug the 4-pin end of this connector into the radio module. Using the USB from the back of the center console, plug it into the USB port closest to the edge of the chassis of the HEIGH10 brain. This is the port that will be used for Android Auto and CarPlay. Plug the USB port from the glove box into the other available USB port. Plug the original radio wiring harness into the main vehicle harness and rotate the lever up to latch it into place. Locate the red and white RCA connectors from the radio replacement interface labeled aux in to radio and connect them into the red and white RCA connectors on the HEIGH10 harness labeled aux in. Carefully pass the radio replacement interface and cables into the dash and secure the HEIGH10 assembly into position using the original 4 7mm bolts. Locate this small harness with 20-pin white connector and black 8-pin connector. The harness plugs into the factory radio connector and also plugs into the dash kit. For vehicles equipped with a MyLink radio, connect the 2 bulleted extension leads to their matching female bulleted connectors. Route the 2 cables through the rectangle opening below the radio and over toward the steering column. Locate the orange with black stripe wire in pin 15 and the pink with black stripe wire in pin 19. These wires are in a 27-pin light blue connector on the BCM. Connect the loose end of the orange with black stripe extension wire to the orange with black stripe wire in pin 15. Connect the loose end of the pink with black stripe extension wire to the pink with black stripe wire in pin 19. If your Camaro is not equipped with a MyLink radio, you do not need to attach these wires. Simply plug the white 20-pin connector into the factory harness and plug the 8-pin Molex connector into the dash kit. Route the 2 HEIGH10 display cables through the opening in the dash kit, then carefully slide the kit into position until it snaps into place. Install the original 2 7mm bolts that secure the bottom of the radio into position. Attach the rubber boot to the display clamp assembly. Connect the 2 HEIGH10 cables into the back of the display. To attach the display, we will first engage the bottom hook under the bottom bar, then push the display upward to compress the spring, which allows the display to latch over the top bar, which secures it into position. With the HEIGH10 connected, turn the vehicle on and do a function test to verify function before reassembly. Then reassemble the vehicle in the opposite order of which it was taken apart. That completes the installation process, and now you're ready to enjoy your brand new Stinger infotainment system and all of its great features. We hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.